All right, welcome back to another episode of the Drift Podcast. I'm your host, Travis, and I've got with me
Ben.
And we've also got Jay. And today we're going to be doing an episode about Japan and what it's actually like to live there. It's not going to be a sugar-coated episode. I know that some people really exaggerate what it's like to live in Japan, but I want to show people and tell people what it really is like, what to expect. You know, we don't want people just moving to a country and they have all these high hopes and it just doesn't really turn out to be what it's actually like. So we've got Jay on the line. So Jay, just introduce yourself, what car do you drive, and how long you've been in Japan and stuff.
Hey, I'm Jay. I've been living in Japan for about 3 years now. Came over teaching English from America. Right now I drive a C33 of the rail with a S13 SR20 swap.
Okay. How often would you say you go drifting?
I haven't even drifted that car yet. I've had it for like 3 months, I think.
3 months, yeah, okay. What did you have before then in Japan?
Before that, I had an S14 missile, I guess you would say. It was held together with duct tape and...
Oh, what, S14, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And held together with duct tape and zip ties and stuff. Sounds like a typical Ebisu car.
It was cleaner than an Ebisu car.
Okay.
But,
it was street driven.
It was street legal, yeah. I had street registration on it.
Yeah, okay. Well, for starters, how, if you want to say, how much did either of those cars cost you? Like, on average, you don't have to give an exact figure.
The S14 I bought for... I don't know how to say it.
First time speaking English in a while?
280,000 yen. 280,000 yen?
Okay, so that would be about 2,800 American or about 3,100 Australian. So,
yeah.
Which...
And it still had a year of registration on it, so it was still street legal for a year, but...
Right.
The subframe was screwed up, the shocks were screwed up.
Yeah, it was a fairly average car.
Yeah, it was nothing special.
Yeah.
I found out it had an S13 turbo on it, because I guess it blew and they just popped a turbo on it to sell.
Oh, yeah, so like a T25 on an S14, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it had the year's registration on it. How does that work for, say, a foreigner going to Japan and wanting to have a registered car in their name?
Well, you have to legally be like a resident of Japan to own a car in Japan.
Right.
So you can't just come over and be like, hey, I've got $5,000. I'm going to buy a car and go drive around. That ain't going to happen.
Okay. So you have to have a visa then, but not a holiday visa. It has to be like a working visa?
No, a work holiday visa would work because you'd be a resident of Japan. You'd have an address and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, because I know Australians can go over there to teach English for 1 year maximum. Just anyone.
Yeah, that should be okay.
Yeah.
I think that would be okay. Like, don't quote me, but there shouldn't be any reason why you couldn't have a car as long as you have a visa and you're a resident.
Okay. And, what's the process for registering a car then?
Depends on the car.
Okay. Well, what do you mean by depends on the car?
Like a regular car over 2,000 cc's, so it has like it's a regular car. And then you have like, the little K cars with the yellow plates.
Yep.
Depending on the city, I think. City or prefecture, I can't remember. K cars, you don't have to prove you have a parking spot.
Okay.
So when I bought my last K car, I had all the paperwork from the previous owner, and a friend did it for me because I always had work Monday through Friday. He ran up to the Shakinjo, which is the registration office where they do like the safety inspections and stuff.
Yep. Like, so the transport authority place.
I think he paid like 4,000 yen, had my my stamp, my personal stamp that I have registered with the city office.
Right.
So instead of like a signature and a notary, I have a little wooden stamp and a
really
certificate. A little certificate I get from the city office that says yes.
Does that like help you with like everything, including like banks and everything like that? Like,
Yeah, banks, you don't need it.
Right.
But when I came here, my company gave me one because it seemed like some of the banks wanted you to use that instead of a
Right, so I could
signature.
steal your stamp and I could be you.
Yeah.
Because all us white people look the same anyway, so...
If you have the certificate from the city office that I would go get,
Yeah.
you could go get like a car loan or buy a car. You could buy a house.
Wow, that's scary.
That is super scary.
Yeah, but if you don't have, but it's just like say you just stole it, like you wouldn't be able to do anything without the
paperwork to go with it. All right, so I've got to steal the stamp and the paperwork. Then I'm Jay.
Yeah, so the paperwork is basically the notary part of it. Like you just have a sign and you go get your signature notarized.
Right.
Sure.
So instead of a notary, I just have a piece of paper that says this is me, this is my seal.
Okay. So he went up to the place and he had your stamp and stuff.
Stamped my stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and he registered it for me in my name.
Right. Okay.
A regular car, you have to prove you have a parking spot.
Yeah.
So,
right.
My S14, I had rented a different spot close to my house so I could get all the paperwork right. And they gave me a map, a copy of the contract where the parking spot was at. And then I went to the police station, filled out paperwork, said, hey, this is my parking spot. This is proof that this is my parking spot. Please give me a certificate saying this is my parking spot. So that takes about a week. After you get that, then you can go to like a registration place and get the car changed into your name, if it still has registration.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So like my last S14, my same friend, I gave him my stamp, that paperwork from the police station, and he was able to go register everything for me. My current car didn't have registration when I bought it.
Okay.
It didn't have a number plate or anything. So that, I had to borrow a truck from a friend, take the car to the shop that was going to make the registration for me, and then I went and made all the paperwork and gave all the paperwork to him because he was going to fix things that wouldn't pass registration, like raise the shocks up, put a different muffler on it, and fix a couple things for me.
So you pay
he did all that
for mechanics then over there?
That mechanic, he doesn't have all like the official licenses, I think, so he can do whatever.
Right. Okay.
Well, he's pretty cheap.
What do you mean by official licenses? Like a trade license type thing?
I have no idea how all that works.
Okay.
Yeah,
do
Japan
most
and he loves licenses for everything.
Yeah, right. Do most Japanese people pay for a mechanic, or do they work on their own cars?
A lot of the guys seem to pay for big jobs to get done.
Right. So like head gaskets and stuff like that. Like
yeah. If I would have had a little bit more money when my S14 head gasket went, I would have paid the guy to do it.
I'm sure we all would pay people to work on our cars if we can afford to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I just don't have the space. I had to, when I did my head gasket, I did it in a barn with no electricity. So I had to go on weekends when it was still sunny so I could see.
Japan's very much like that though. Like it's kind of like 20 or 30 years behind us in some regards too, I think.
Yeah, and some think that's like, really? I have to fax entry fees?
Yeah, fax machines are really big over there. Yep.
No, so like 2 years ago when I drove Matsuri,
yep,
I faxed the paperwork to Abisu. That's the only way you could do it.
Wow. No email.
No, there's no email. I printed out the paperwork from their website. I filled it out with pen. I put my little stamp I was talking about earlier on it.
Wow.
I stamped it instead of signing it, and then I faxed it to them. Then I went to the bank and wired them the money to their bank account.
Yeah, right. That is so backwards.
And that's at every drift event. I've had my friends register before, like a couple times I've driven because they knew the people running the event.
Yeah.
So So they just called the guys like, hey, he'll pay when he gets there. And I didn't have to fax stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
But like if I was going to a event and I didn't know who was running it, and it was like a different circuit, I'd be like, okay, let's see where to print out this paperwork and who to fax it to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's also backwards, but I guess that's just the way Japan does it, and that's the way they'll probably do it for a long time, because that's Japan.
Yeah, they don't seem to like changing much because you have to go through a lot of
Yeah, there's
ask
a lot
one
of
guy,
hoops
and then he's
to
like,
jump
sounds
through.
like a good idea. Let's ask our boss, and then okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's ask this guy's boss. All right, fax everything over to this guy and get his little stamp on it.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, next question.
But yeah, when
Oh, yeah? What are you going to say?
So before we move off on registration, when I bought my car, my current car, it cost about 160,000 yen for registration and a little bit of mechanic work I had done on it.
Okay, including buying the car?
No, that was just
the work plus the
Registration.
registration. So the registration, if you just had to renew it, I don't know if you can renew it, but if you just had to renew
No,
it,
you
how
have
much
to
would
do
that cost a year on a normal car?
if I didn't have any work done on my C33 and he just took it to get shaken because it's a drift car, I think he said it was going to be like 130,000.
Okay, so almost 1,500 Australian, or about
Yeah. I think if you
1,300
do
American.
it yourself, it's like 90,000 or 80,000 if you do it yourself. But
Okay.
that guy knows what he can get away with and what he needs to fix, so I'd rather just pay him to go there and him argue with the guy.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to argue in another language with someone.
Yeah, he'll just go there and be like, they'll start bitching about something, and he's like, that's not inspection. Don't look at that. That's not your problem.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, my next question leading into that is where do you suggest people buy cars from? Because obviously your first car, you weren't super happy with for obvious reasons,
No.
it being not the best car, and you sold that and you bought the current Laurel.
Yeah, I bought my current Laurel for cheaper than I bought my S14.
And it's way better. So,
Yeah.
what's the story with buying cars? Like, say you're fresh, like you were, coming to Japan. How did you
fresh.
find your first car, and how would you suggest
So-
someone do it differently, rather than making the same mistakes?
So, right when I came here, I didn't know any drivers or drifters or anyone.
Yeah.
And I met one guy at Daikoku,
Mm-hmm.
and his shop that he gets his stuff worked on at, they were telling me, like, if I had, was it 300,000 or 350,000 around that, they could help me get a decent so-so car that could drift.
Okay.
And then I met my other buddy through some friends, and he was studying English, and he's a drifter.
Yep.
We found a Facebook group because, like I was saying, all the registration paperwork, a lot of Japanese people don't know how to do it. So
Right.
sometimes they'll pay dealers, like a car lot. They're like, hey, I want to sell this car to my friend. Can we pay you $300 to do all the paperwork for us?
Yeah. Right. Huh.
So because when I bought the S14, I bought it off a Facebook group I had found that was selling cars like person to person without going through a dealer.
Yeah.
When I paid the guy the money, he handed me the registration, that the certificate I was talking about earlier that says this seal is my seal, like a notary,
Mm-hmm.
and then another piece of paper that says he was selling the car to me. So I got all that, but the car's still in his name, so I could have just got on the highway and ran up a bunch of tickets and
Yeah. Right.
gone street drifting and like all the cops coming, and they show up at his house and he's like, I sold it to some guy on Facebook.
Yeah. And so he could get in a
I
lot of
just
shit.
disappear. Yeah, so that, a lot of people don't sell person to person because it's kind of dangerous like that.
Okay, so I guess that's
But-
something
but at
so
the
that
same
if you
time,
do
like-
own a car over there and you do go to sell it, is to be careful when you do sell it and make sure, I guess, spend the $300.
The best way to do it is just go to the registration with the person you're selling it to. Like, hey, yeah, let's go to the registration place together and just do all the paperwork together.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So there's Facebook. You can buy cars. I had an Australian friend that worked for the same English teaching company. He bought his C35 through some Australian guys that does auction over here and like
Yep.
exports. But when you get a car from auction, you can't test drive it. You can only start the engine.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So he paid the guys all the money, got delivered, and he goes jumps in the street and finds out the clutch slips like anytime you hit boost.
Right.
So
That'd suck a lot.
when you buy from auction, they can start the car, they can walk around and look at it, but they can't drive the car. So you buy a car from auction, have some money saved up to fix it.
Yeah, I guess. So you just make sure you have some spare money if you're preparing,
he had money and
And that's
he paid a
not
shop.
Yahoo auctions that you're talking about. Just to clarify, that's
No, that's like the big,
the big
What do you call it?
like export auctions, basically.
yeah, like that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
And
so
people, and on that note, people are always like, hey, how can I go look at the auctions? You can't.
yes, you can look
You have to have,
online
like, dealer
through
license.
certain like websites and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
You
then,
have to have a dealer's license to go to the auction to buy a car from auction.
so
You can't
basically,
just
you've
show
got to pay someone to buy the car for you anyway.
Yeah, you have to pay like someone that has a dealer's license to go buy it for you.
Do you know how much that costs roughly? I know it costs about $1,000 for export cars, but I don't know if it's less.
I don't know how much it costs to get the license.
Okay. I mean, to pay someone who has a license, basically.
I think it just depends on who it is.
And who you
Because
know.
I have a friend that has a auction license,
Oh, really?
like a dealer's license, so I don't think he would charge me anything.
Yeah.
I haven't asked him if it costs. I mean, I'm sure I have to pay all the fees that
Yeah.
accumulate from buying that car, but I'm not really sure about how all that works.
So, yeah, knowing all those
My
different
current
places
car-
that you could buy a car from, which one would you
Yeah.
recommend as the safest option to buy a car from then? And the probably most cost effective too at the same time.
If you have money, you can just go to some tuning garages and be like, hey,
That's probably the biggest one if you have money is to buy it from somewhere
that
proven.
car, that chaser costs $80,000. I have the cash. Can I go drive it?
Yeah.
And they'll probably be like, yeah, sure, go drive it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You could look on Facebook. There's some Japanese groups, and I'm sure like we test drove my S14 before I bought it, and I was like, hey, it drives. It'll drift.
Yeah. Yeah. And it did drift. Like
Yeah.
it just had. It
But
was
then I
just
had to fix a
rough.
bunch of crap on it.
But
Yeah.
for the price, it's not that bad. Even
yeah.
back then when you bought that, I paid still double that for my R32. So
Yeah.
and that thing didn't come with rego or registration.
Yeah.
So so I guess you got a pretty fair deal for that, at least back then.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the money, just go to some dealers.
Yeah.
If you
yeah.
have-
I
You're
totally
looking for
agree.
something special, like you could go through auction, but I would say have a good
Or Yahoo auctions even.
1,000, 2,000. Yeah, you can go through Yahoo auction too.
And obviously,
have to pay
Andy and
for that.
Emily can source you a car, but they're not going to get you something with rego too. Andy and Emily up at Eversoo.
I think they can.
I suppose if
I-
you have your residency and you can register it
Yeah,
in your name, they would probably help you do that. It'd be something you'd have to ask them.
I emailed them back
Okay.
before I moved here, and they said they can do stuff like if you're a resident.
Okay, that's interesting. So
Okay,
that helps some
um,
people then.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't know how much they'll help you out. Like, hey, this car has registration. Good luck. I don't think they'll.
Well, I guess they can buy the cars from the auction then, so you could tell them
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
looking
So I'm
for.
sure-
Plus,
I'm
they
sure
have
he
some
emailed, like,
really
yeah,
nice like
okay.
street cars there too for sale. So if you do have the money, I guess you could consider them as one of the shops that you can buy a car
Yeah,
from.
definitely.
Like as a tuning shop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, and they speak English, so that's a big help. And
yeah,
then-
definitely. Well, when was the last time you spoke English like as much as you are now?
2 weeks ago,
Nice.
I spoke to this half Japanese, half Korean girl last weekend.
Yep.
She spoke like perfect English, but her friends are with, they didn't. So I was like, yeah, I can't just sit here and speak English the whole time. Everyone just stare at me. That's kind of rude. So
You should have spoken to her in Korean, man. You should have just remembered everything that you learned.
no, Korean is gone.
Alrighty, Ben, you got another question?
Yeah, so just wondering, like, what would be the average wage and general living costs of being in Japan, and how that'd translate into maintaining a drift car as well as living there?
That's going to depend on the person. Like,
Well, consider that most people will live there for, you know, just and start off teaching English. I think that's most people's gateway into Japan.
Yeah. My pay was really low, but I had a lot of free time.
Right.
But that balances out. I was like, hey, now I have all this free time and no money. I can't do anything.
Yeah. So what you don't have to give your exact, obviously, but can you give like an average wage that people get teaching English?
Maybe, let's say, average.
Yeah.
Like, you're living abroad and you're coming over, maybe, what would it be, 220, like $2,300 a month.
American, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
Wow.
But
so
then,
like
you know,
$600,
you gotta pay
$650 a week?
On the higher side of the average, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So is that after tax? Like, is that what's actually coming into your bank account, like after tax?
So I was a dispatch worker, is how my contract was. So I had to pay the tax out of everything I got from the company.
So kind of like a contractor, I guess, is what we have
so
here.
like they took out national income tax, but then I got the slips from like my local tax and health insurance from like my city office.
Yeah, right. Was that expensive?
So how Japan works is your tax rate's based off your previous year's income. So right when you come to Japan, it's super cheap. You're like, yeah, I can live off this, and the next year, you're like, oh crap. You're like, I just lost, my yearly just went down like $5,000.
Wow. And when you're not earning that much, that is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. I think it'd be close to 4,000 or 5,000, I guess. Like your health insurance and your tax. Okay. You're supposed to pay pension too, but I haven't paid into that.
Yeah, which I guess is in Australia that's called like superannuation. But so then I guess the maintenance on your car, like, has it left you with much money to drive? Like, would you say?
Me personally, I like to go out and like meet my friends and drink and eat every once in a while. So
get
not
drunk.
Really. Yeah. I mean, you gotta refresh, man. You live abroad and you're just like, oh my god, the bank pissed me off today. Why do I live in Japan?
Yeah.
Like, that's the stupidest thing ever. It makes no sense. So, I mean, if you're good at entertaining yourself, or like, and you don't go out much, like, I think you could do it if that was your one thing you did a month. Yeah,
I guess you can kind of it's like pick one, you know, to do that month, and that's maybe go drinking or maybe go drifting or, you know, something like that. You couldn't uphold like multiple hobbies kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, I know some people can stay at home and like study or play games and stuff, but I liked going outside.
Yeah, totally. No, that's fair enough. So
an event normally costs around, what would it be, 13,000 if you entered early, and then or 15,000 if you entered late.
Okay, so between about $150, let's say, per event.
But that's going to be about an hour of seat time.
Whoa.
Okay, wow.
Really? Not compared to Ebisu, like, because Ebisu is a lot cheaper.
You just go and it's all you can drift.
Yeah, from 8 a.m. till 4:30. Like 200 odd days a year, basically.
Yeah. So let's say I go drift Nico. I pay the 13,000 entry. I drift 15 minutes. I wait an hour. I drift 15 minutes. I wait an hour. So you normally get 4 or 5 heats. So it's about an hour worth of drive time.
Wow. Are the rules very heavy?
Different setup compared to here, eh?
Yeah. Because here you wait in a line, and just wait for your turn, basically.
Or if you look at Archerfield, you do hot lapping.
In the States I went to.
Okay.
It was an open circuit.
Yeah, wow, okay.
True. What are the rules like at some of the tracks, just like a generalization of it?
Long sleeves, gloves, and a helmet.
Okay. Have to wear gloves.
Car-wise, sometimes the guy's out there with a decibel gun. I think it's 120, 130.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Every once in a while, I'll see a guy out with a decibel gun, but I've never paid attention if he's actually pulled someone over and be like, hey, you can't drift.
My friend asked me that if there was a decibel limit at Ebisu the other day, and I laughed at him. I'm like, no, but I didn't.
Ebisu is a very special place.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ebisu is a very special place.
Special like Special K. If you know what that is, I don't know if you have that in America. Yeah. Okay. So, but you haven't seen anyone get kicked off track.
You could afford it. I'm sorry?
You haven't seen anyone get kicked off track for having too loud a car, though.
Only time I've seen... I don't think I've ever seen anyone kicked off the track. I saw one guy, get oil in the track twice, and he just quit because I guess he was embarrassed, or the event guy was like, hey, quit driving, you're screwing up the track.
Yeah. Okay. And it's windows up, too, on most tracks, isn't it?
If you don't have someone in the car, you can have the drivers cracked and the passengers open.
That would be so bad in 40-degree, 100% humidity.
Yeah, I got sick last year at Nico because I wanted to ride with my friend.
Yeah.
Because I was driving his practice car.
Right.
So I was wanting to ride with him to see what line he was taking, what he was doing, so I could try and copy it.
Yeah.
But we're both in there, and I'm like, I'm about to vomit.
Yeah, just like heat stroke almost.
Yeah, no, I did. I almost got heat stroke because we were in the car in the middle of summer with the windows up, with the heater on.
Why was the heater on?
Keep the engine cool, mate.
Because it was starting to overheat a little bit as he was driving it.
Hey, just take the bonnet off. She'll be right. Yeah, wow. No, that's crazy. That's totally crazy to think like that. That's one of the things they have to have. I'm not sure if you meant to it at Ebisu, but I just drive with the window down. But I can't remember if you're meant to have the window up.
I've never seen. I was at Ebisu last weekend.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a guy. We were over at Minami the whole time, and there was no staff at all.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So. I don't think they care that much at Ebisu, long as you're not being a complete idiot.
Until someone gets very seriously hurt, and then things will change. But,
yeah.
But I guess the insurance covers it all now. Yeah, I totally think that Ebisu is like a ticking time bomb for, that's why I try to go over there as often as I can actually afford it, because I just know that it probably in the next 5 years, it will be a lot more strict than it is now, and it won't be the same. But anyway, it's really good for the moment.
Sometimes I'm at Ebisu, I'm just like, God, this is so sketchy.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you were in the car with me and we were doing, what was it, Nishi Long? And you were freaking. You were freaking when I was aiming for that wall.
I was like, this car is really bouncy and we're going really fast. And there's not a roll cage in this.
No, we do have to sort that out this year. Don't let me forget.
Hey, I'm going to go throw it at the wall in third gear. I'm like, oh, great. I'm closest to the wall.
I want to aim for those Americans standing on the wall with the noodles. Good times. All right.
We need to get you a cage next time you come over.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to
I can
hook me up. Yeah, hook me up, boy. Cool. Next question, dude.
Yeah, what's it like being part of a D1 crew?
Oh, yeah, that.
Because you do hang out with D1 guys, quite a bit,
Yeah, my buddy that I was riding with, he's a D1 driver. We were, I think, we got top 24 last year, so we could drift in Odaiba's last race.
Yeah, right.
I think we got 22 overall, 22 or 21
for the year.
Which is pretty crazy. It's a Laurel with a 2J with a turbo.
With a turbo, just not like a specific turbo, but
I don't remember what it was, but I think we're only at like 550 or 600 horsepower.
Sure.
Only.
Okay, well, when you have freaking Daigo over there with 1,000 plus
Yeah, I
horsepower,
suppose, yeah.
Corvette and
That's fair
Kawabata with... Dude, Kawabata's car is so funny. So the GTR can't fit on the trailer. They have to put stockies on it for it to get on the trailer.
Oh, wow.
So
They
every
have
time-
a
and it's got
wait.
air- like
They
a-
have a trailer? That's unheard of in Japan.
I mean, like a flatbed truck, like
Oh,
the flatbed
flatbed
truck.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there are trailers over here that are just really expensive.
Yeah, I heard that they have to be imported from the States, and they have to register them as a...
Yep.
That's it. You can't
And-
get a build plate for it in Japan. They can't supply it with a build plate, so you have to already get something from the States that has a build plate on it to be able to register it. And it's supposed to be registered as like a truck or something, and you need to have like a what do you call it?
You have
Like a
to
semi-trailer with the two trailers.
Yeah, where it pivots, you have to have the truck license. That
Yeah,
has, like,
you
the
have to have the
pivot.
license equivalent to that. So it's like a heavy, non-rigid. Like I forget what the other part of that license is called, but a
I don't remember the
non-rigid heavy license.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just have
crazy.
a car trailer. Like that's why no one has it.
And they're expensive.
Yeah, and you obviously have to have a tow bar to suit that, and because no one has
And you
trailers,
have to
they're
have a
quite
place to
rare.
put it.
What's that?
And you have to have a place to store it.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. You know, it's I guess you can park a car on top of it, but if it's just a normal car trailer size car trailer, but at the same time, you might as because you can drive the flatbed trucks, can't you? And they're not that expensive to drive.
Yeah,
or have.
I currently don't have a license for the flatbed trucks, but I think Aussie guys, if you have what's the commercial license and you come over, you
Yeah, I
can
think if we
use-
have an MR, just a medium rigid or a light rigid, I think we're allowed to drive them. So
True.
Yeah. You guys, I think are... Okay, I didn't have a commercial license in the States. If I would have had that, I would have pushed for it when I had mine translated.
So, out of interest, do you know how much they cost to hire one of those trucks? Because I've always considered taking my R32 from Ebisu and take it to a different track. So, do you know?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna have to get you to do some research because I'm keen.
I've seen in the toilet one time, I think they were like $700 a day or something.
I suppose if you just kind of drop the car off somewhere for like, say, like 4 days and give the truck back, that could work out okay if you didn't have to take it too far.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially if you could split it between two people and go pick up one car, drop it there, pick up another car and drop it there and then hand the truck back, it probably wouldn't be that expensive overall. But, yeah, it'd be an interesting thing to do. Cool.
For
Okay.
sure.
Next
D1's
question.
pretty cool though.
Oh yeah, D1. Yeah, D1. Totally. Yeah. What do you do there?
D1.
Like, what's your role at D1?
My role is basically you have to have people to get things done. Because like he works a full-time job, so I help prep the car, I'll just change oil, get it on the truck,
Tires.
get all the tires ready, pack the service car. When we get to drive the service car there, unpack the service car.
So you're like an
And
assistant type
normally-
job.
Yeah, I do like anything I can, but it's
Do you get
basically just
paid?
all the low-level stuff. No. That was just helping my friend.
And I hear you dress up in odd clothing sometimes.
I was being a goofball because we're just a bunch of like friends having fun at the event.
Yeah.
Like we have like tire sponsors and roll cage sponsors and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but it's not like a big sponsor. So we're just having fun because we like the driver. And so what was it? It was the Motor Fan Fest or something at Fuji Speedway.
Okay.
Last year we got invited to go to because they were doing a D1 gym around. So I was just being goofy. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go get a hoppy, which is like the stuff, like the one of the jackets to wear at like a Matsuri.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna get that.
Like a proper festival
my,
jacket.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go see if I can find one of those, and I have my Takoyaro flag, which basically translates to jackass in Japanese, but like a cute jackass.
Which is just you down to a T.
Yeah, so I've got that on, and I'm just sticking that in the car when all the guys are walking around, and then that kind of stuck at D1. My friend was like, hey, you should do that when all the customers come in. We have to give them high fives. I'm like, I'm so shy. I don't want to go up there looking like
Did you have the headband and stuff as well?
Yeah, I had that. I was like a guy working at a sushi restaurant.
That's so good.
Dude, so I'm standing there with all the D1 drivers, like towards the end with we had a race queens last year on our team, 3 of them. So one of them was holding the umbrella for me. I'm just saying good morning to all the fans and stuff. I'm like, yeah, what am I doing?
What is my life coming to?
The D1 staff didn't care. They were like, he's fine.
Nice. What's it like hanging out with other D1 drivers then? Are they approachable? Do you make fun of them or?
So, I had met Yokoi one time back in the States.
Yeah, right.
So, like, I don't ever, like, really, like, go up to someone else's pit and talk to them because everyone's,
Yeah,
but, like, when we're, like, walking around, I'll just say, oh, hey, good job today, or, like, talk to them a little bit. Last year, a couple of the guys that I've talked to before, I started playing rock, paper, scissors with them.
Okay.
Just
the Japanese rock, paper, scissors, which is
just
a
to
little
screw
bit
with them to see if
different.
they'll do it back.
Yeah.
So, like, if I just say it and start doing it, I want to see if they'll react.
Yeah, okay.
So, where was I? I think it was Osaka. I did it to Yokoi, and he lost. And he's like, no, we got to do it again. and then I lost, and I lost it again. I was like, I'm done. Best 2 out of 3, you win.
Yeah, right.
That's great.
Any other memorable ones with any other D1 drivers?
Is it for Fukada? Fukada's pretty funny. The guy that drives the Mark II,
Okay.
the Dunlop tires.
Okay.
He tried to steal my money once.
Nice. Whatever little money you have working at a high school.
I had like a $10 bill. I was getting some food, and he like took it and started walking. I was like, "Hey, cut it out!"
That's my food for the week.
Yeah, I'm like, that's gonna last me until dinner when I see if someone else on the team will buy me food.
Nice.
So there's
nice.
All the D1 guys seem pretty cool. Like there's not like if there's any beef, they don't show it.
Yeah.
They might run their. It's not like, why the hell did you crash into my car? It's like, oh, sorry, I crashed in your car. It's like, oh no, it's okay.
Okay.
So I was talking to my friend, and most of the guys are older,
Yeah.
30s, late 30s.
Well, they're all
My
shop
friend,
owners too, most of them as well, the older guys
Yeah,
at least.
he's 40, above 40. So most of the guys are just old and been doing it for forever, and there's no room for beef. We're just trying to see who can go the fastest and get the closest.
Yeah. And you've spoken to people like Naoki and stuff like that as well on some occasions and stuff.
Yeah, I've talked to Naoki I think once or twice.
Okay, what's he like?
He's a goofball.
He's a bogan.
Oh my god. Where were we? I think it was Kanto All Stars or something at Nico. He came, and his pit was next to us.
Yeah.
And we were all all talking and stuff. And he walks over to pop his trunk, and he has 2 self-tapping screws that go through his wing, that screw his wing down to his body to hold it trunk down.
Wow.
So he popped the trunk. They were already loose. He popped the trunk, and we're like, oh, you have a fuel cell. That's okay. And you're using used spark plugs and moving them around because you don't have spark plugs. Okay. And then he closes the trunk, and then he has a grin on his face and walks over with the drill and just drills the screws down. I'm like, God, this car is so good.
And I know that you went in his car at Ebisu Matsuri. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I knew the guy that he was with, so I asked him my buddy, if he would ask Naoki to give me a ride.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we just did a quick 2 laps.
Okay, but what was the seating position like? Remind me of that.
Oh, the seating position? My seating position?
Yes.
my seating position was holding onto the roll bar because he doesn't have a seatbelt in the the passenger seat.
Didn't he not even have a seat?
No, there was a seat.
There was a seat. I thought, right.
Yeah,
so you're just holding on to dear
door.
life while you're going backwards on North Course.
No, I was just holding on. I was like, thank God this is Naoki. Like, he won't crash.
Yeah, he'll make Daigo crash behind him.
Yeah, or Daigo will crash him with the rear of his car because his car is not fast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Can you think of any other, maybe like, memorable drivers, I guess, you've had the chance to either speak to or go in the car with? Anything memorable, I guess, you can really think of? Please say me. Please say me.
I've ridden
Please
with my
say me.
D1 buddy. I've ridden with him some.
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah.
My D1 driver, Kiguchi Kinji, I've ridden with him some.
Yep.
I think I had the most fun was when I was riding in that S13 practice car that's all stock.
Right.
All stock, has shocks, and just some of his, like, some nice Dunlop tires.
Turbo.
And yeah, Turbo S13.
Yeah.
And then do you remember my buddy Anderson that was at Matsuri
Yeah,
with
the
blue S15?
blue S15. Yep.
Yeah. He was, so we were at a Gymkhana event.
Okay.
And I had so much fun because we're in a stock S13 and it's not really boosted up. It's just all stock with, shocks and tires.
Okay.
And then my buddy in the S15, which, it had horsepower, obviously.
Yeah, that thing was like, I think you said it was about 500 odd horsepower.
Our stock S13 was rubbing his door the whole time at Gymkhana.
That's rad.
Yeah,
He's a good driver too. He's a good driver.
Yeah, so I'm just giggling like a little schoolgirl the whole time. Like, this is so much fun. We're in a stock S13 right on this guy's door and he can't get away.
Well, I suppose that's another thing with Japan is when you think about most general non-D1 cars, it's actually uncommon to see cars with high horsepower. True? Like, you don't... Like, I guess you can have, like, a HKS turbo kit, as, like, a main thing, but you don't see what you do, like, in Australia and in the States, where you see, like, the majority of cars have, an aftermarket ECU, a big turbo, and stuff like that.
It might be the dyno tune is expensive.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of people get road tunes actually over there. It's really common.
Yeah,
or you have like an ECU that like matches the turbo kit that you're buying.
Yeah. Our D1 car was a street tune. It didn't have a dyno tune on it.
Wow. And how long did that last? All year without popping a motor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah, my C33 right now has just a S14 turbo with injectors, and it's got a street flash on the ECU.
Right, which would only probably just be something very, very minor, I guess. Like,
yeah. But I think, because I know the guy that did the tune on it, I think it costs, for him to do a street tune, I think it's, 50,000 yen?
Wow, that's actually pretty expensive. That's almost as much as what a proper tune costs on a dyno over here.
That's you give him the car and then him going flying down the highway with his laptop.
Look, that'd at least be an experience to do.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to see some of those cars that he works on going down the highway. I'm like, this is so not okay.
Well, do you see, do you see many cool cars? Because I think everyone expects when they arrive in Japan that it's just going to be full of these awesome cars. You're going to see Skylines everywhere and, like Itasha cars everywhere and cool cars just in general. Like, do you regularly see cool cars, or do you actually have to keep a proper lookout for them?
That's going to depend on the area you're in. Okay. Because the more countryside you get, the more lax the cops are.
Right, so you're saying you're more likely to see cool cars in the countryside than in the city?
Yeah, right when I moved here, I'd lived here for like 3 months, I think, and my friend came,
and
he'd visited Japan once because he has an uncle that had gotten married to a Japanese woman.
Yeah,
And he was like, I didn't see any cool cars because we were like in the city the whole time. But now out here in the countryside, like S15, Skyline, like you'll see cool cars, but like it's not like full of cool cars because they're expensive to own.
Yes, and register compared to a K car.
Too. I didn't talk about that. So on top of me paying the registration that I said was around $1,000.
Yeah.
For every 2 years.
Oh, every 2 years. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. You also have road tax, which is every year.
Right. Okay.
The bigger the engine and the older the car, the more expensive it gets.
That's why people always used to say that's why we get the cars export so cheap, is because it costs so much money to have older cars on the road.
Yeah.
So that is true.
It is true.
So what's the deal with it then?
If it's over 15 years old, it's 15% more expensive, the road tax. So
okay, but it doesn't go in like increments, like every 5 years or something like that. Like it doesn't get more expensive.
I think it's when it hits 15, it goes up 15%. I'm not sure. My old K car was a little bit more expensive than a newer K car because it was older, but it wasn't that old.
And K cars are really cheap to register anyway.
Yeah.
I think they're only like $50 a year or something, aren't they?
Mine was, road tax was $14,000 on my K car.
So $150 for the road tax. How much for the registration then?
The registration, it already had it on it, so I don't know how much it costs to get the shock-in on a K car. But for road tax on my S14, because it was a 2-liter turbo,
which is
turbo
yearly.
Doesn't matter, just the size of the engine.
Yeah.
So a 2-liter, it was $44,000.
Wow.
A year.
Yeah. Wow. Do you know how much it is on a bigger engine? Like say a 2J?
No idea. I'm sure it'll be. I don't know how much more expensive it jumps.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. I'll pay more in tax and registrations and fees than I paid for my car for 2 years.
Wow. Plus parking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an added cost that you have to remember. If you want to work in and around Tokyo, you're going to be paying a lot higher rent and a lot higher parking. So
right before I lived in Ibaraki, which is the countryside, it was $4,000 a month for parking, which is really, really cheap.
Yeah, so $50 a month.
Yeah, right now I live on like the edge of Tokyo. Like if I walked 15 minutes across the river, I'd be in Saitama.
Okay, that's the edge of Tokyo, north side edge.
Yeah, northwest corner.
Yeah.
Parking around here is above 10,000 a month.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, over $100 a month.
Yeah.
Plus, is the like the cost of the apartment or whatever a lot more expensive too?
Because I live in the factory district, it's not that expensive for my apartment.
Yeah.
But I'm not close to a station. I have to ride like a 15-minute bus.
And plus, how far, just so people know, how long would it take you to either drive or catch a local train to, say, close to the middle of Tokyo from there? Like, how far out of Tokyo actually are you?
Shibuya, I think, takes 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah, because I gotta take a bus and then take a train.
Right.
If I drove to Shibuya, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on traffic.
So it's definitely still quite far out. You're definitely not anywhere near the center. Like.
Right. But I mean, if I did, it'd be above 30,000 a month per parking spot. I wouldn't be able to have that car. I'd instantly get pulled over by the police.
Well, that's stuff for people to keep in mind. Like, if you want to have a drift car, you got to be prepared to live in the countryside or close to the countryside. You're not going to have that Tokyo life if you want to have a drift car. So you really, if you are planning on moving, you have to have, know that you can't have both unless you're crazy rich.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much it is for Yokohama and stuff, but
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, it'd probably maybe be a little bit more expensive than where you are now if you lived on like the outer skirts of Yokohama. Okay, interesting.
Yep.
What about parts? So, what's the deal with parts? Say, do you have places like AutoZone and stuff like that over there? Like the American equivalents where you buy parts from?
No.
Right.
So, also you can't just walk into a dealership and tell them a part number and get a part number.
So even if you have the part number already?
Yeah, if you know the part number, you walk into the dealership, there's not a parts counter.
Right. So how do you buy a part for your car then? If you let's say you need a
timing belt.
Yeah, a timing belt or
timing belt.
Yeah.
So if you own the car, you'll have the registration paper.
Okay.
Then you walk into the dealership. You're like, hey, I want to buy a part. And you'll sit in the showroom. One of the techs will come into the showroom. This is just for me. I mean, someone else might be different.
No, it's not. I've been there. I know it's not.
This is the one time I bought parts from a dealer. I walked into the dealer and was like, hey, can I buy parts? I called and you guys said I could buy parts. They're like, yeah. Do you have your registration paper? I was like, yeah. They're like, what do you need? I was like, I need a fusible link because I hooked my alternator up wrong like an idiot.
And that's like something super common that you could just buy at any parts store in Australia or America.
Yeah. I think I found one the other day at a home center, but I was like, I don't know if that would have fit. It doesn't look exactly right. But so I was like, hey, cool. Yeah, awesome. Do you have it? I want to buy it. They're like, oh, no, it's at the distributor. I'm like, where's that at? They're like, it's like 45 minutes away from here. And this is on a Saturday. I'm like, so can I go get it? I'd like to fix my car. He's like, oh, they're not open today, but there's probably someone like stocking shelves, like, preparing the pallets and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, if I pay you here, can I go there and get it? And mind you, this is all in Japanese. The guy's like, hold on. So I was like, yeah, we'll let you go pick it up from the distributor. Okay. I was like, thank God, this is dumb.
I know for me personally.
And there was only 2.
Wow.
One place didn't have it. There was only 2. And I'm like, it's just a fucking fuse.
Yeah, wow. Because I know that when I went over there, I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll just go and get spark plugs from Super Auto Backs for my R32 Skyline with an RB20. I walk in there, I'm like, R-Sani Spark plug. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you doing this to me? Why don't you have spark plugs to my car? Could not find them from anywhere between Tokyo or Narita all the way up to Nihonmatsu at Ebisu. Could not get spark plugs, so I had to use my old ones that I had in the car that I'd been running for the whole year.
The home center, like the DIY place we went to look at.
Yep.
When you came to pick up your stuff.
Yep, which is for Australians. That's like Bunnings or Lowe's in America.
When I went.
They what?
Yeah. They had spark plugs for my S14 when I went, but when we went, they weren't the ones for your car.
They must be the same as a lawnmower or something, because that's about all they have.
But when I did my head gasket on my S14...
You're not going to find a head gasket at the home center.
Oh, no. My friend had just a regular car shop where he fixed K cars and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, like a tuning shop for normal cars.
Yeah, just like a regular hey, I need a tire change. He would let us use this tire change.
Yep.
For free.
Yep.
And I just emailed him. I was like, messaged him. I was like, hey, I need all these parts. Can you get them for me? I don't want to deal with it. He's like, yeah, send me a picture of your registration paper.
Yeah, so they need your registration paper, which for me at Ebisu, I don't have the registration papers for that car. So try getting parts for something you don't even have the registration papers for. So remember that, everybody.
There's a trick that I did find out.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be your car. It just has to be the car registration paper for the car you want to get the parts for.
Okay, can you please just find me a copy of a registration paper for any R32 with an RB20?
Yeah, if you have that, I think I was asking my friend. It's not like a licensing thing. It was just them not wanting to make a mistake
Yeah.
So like that's the procedures they go through. Like we needed parts for the 2J, but we don't have a car with a 2J, right?
Yeah,
Or because it's a Laurel.
Well, you would run into dramas then with your Laurel because it's got an SR swap.
My paperwork says it's an SR, so I think I can buy SR.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. That'll probably really confuse them, though.
Yeah. Yes, it's a 2-seater Laurel with an SR. I'm like, just give me the parts. Don't argue with me.
Okay.
But what we did is our friend had a 110 Mark II or whatever, the new
JZX 110.
We had him, and he lives down by Osaka. We're like, hey, can you send us a picture of your registration paperwork so we can go buy parts?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's crazy.
So, anytime I would need parts, normally I call my friends. I'm like, hey, do you have this?
Yeah.
You know,
or Yahoo. I guess people use Yahoo auctions to get parts off.
Yeah. So first I would call my friends, and then like if you lived here, I would say go through Yahoo auctions.
Yeah. So
or Yahoo Shop.
Say you're at a different racetrack, like Ebisu, different. You have power vehicles there, and if you're part of their power vehicle support, you can buy parts off them. But say you go to Bahoku or Meihan or something like that, and you break your car. What's the go? Like, can you buy parts at other places, or how would you go about fixing your car?
That's another reason I didn't drift a lot, because I wanted to go with one of my Japanese friends when they were driving.
Yep.
So like if my car did break, I'd at least have someone that could help me.
Yeah.
Like call in a favor to get a wrecker, or call in a favor.
Yep.
But what did I break at Nico? I broke my rear low arm, rear traction rod, and my rear axle at Nico. My low arm broke because it had a crack. I didn't know about it.
Right.
So, luckily my friend had the lower arm and the traction rod, but we needed an axle.
Okay.
So first, we asked the one guy that was there. We're like, hey, do you have an S14 axle I can buy? He's like, I don't have one, but let me go ask someone in my group. So I have to ask one friend to ask someone else.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, yeah, he has an axle. I was like, cool, how much do you want for it? He's like, I don't want money, I want an axle.
So you basically would have to buy him another axle.
Yeah, because it's a pain in the ass.
To find one.
Yeah, or then he has to go home, order one off a Yahoo auction, wait for it to come if he's not home, or whatever. He has to go through all the steps to find an axle.
Yeah.
So we called another friend. I went and bought an axle from it, and then I mailed that guy an axle instead of just paying him cash.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, if you do drive, pick a common car.
Yeah, totally.
Don't get something weird that no one drives a lot.
And drive at an event where I suppose people are going to have parts with them.
Like a Sylvia, you're going to be safe. There's going to be someone with a Sylvia. Mark II or Chaser, you'll be safe.
Yeah.
FGs, I don't see a lot. So, you're like, I need a tie rod for an FC. Everyone's going to be like, that sucks.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Connection, Yahoo auction.
Up garage
if you're lucky.
Yep.
The parts are kind of annoying.
Yeah, which on a drift car is something that you need parts, So
yep.
You're gonna have to bring stuff with you and hope you only break the stuff that you have with you. And if you're driving your car there and it breaks, you're pretty stuffed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Certainly makes it a lot more difficult.
I don't remember how much my friend was charged, but we broke down coming home from an event one time because his alternator went out.
Mm-hmm.
And the shop came and picked it up. But then he was like, all right, I'll take the car, but I'm busy, so I don't know how you guys are going home.
Awesome.
So we had to call another friend to come pick us up off the side of the road. But we just had our backpack sitting on the curb.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, okay. Well, do you have anything that you want to ask, Ben?
No, that I can think of. That's covered a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely covered a lot. I guess my final question, unless I can think of another one in the meantime, is knowing... Well, actually, I have another question I just thought of. How much Japanese do you have to know? Like, because not many people are gonna be like super high level Japanese before they come over and teach English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my Australian buddy that I talked about earlier that had the C35 Lorel that he bought from auction.
Yep.
He didn't speak any Japanese.
Okay.
So he was using... My friend's friend introduced him to a garage to get the clutch fixed down where he lived.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got lucky that the owner and like the tech guy was really, really nice.
Yep.
And they lived close, so like they would hang out sometimes, but I think he just used his phone and body gestures a lot.
Yeah.
And like they did registration for us 2 times when we drifted together at Mobara.
Yep.
So we didn't have to fax all the paperwork, he just called the guy. But yeah, I think he got lucky too with that. The owner just being really, really nice and wanting to hang out.
Yeah.
But you're gonna need to be like, you're gonna want to know some Japanese.
I know that your Japanese has like super improved since the first time I met you.
Yeah.
And like, it's obvious. Like, I could tell that it's way easier for you now to do everything basically over there, because stuff is just such a pain in the ass. Like, even as far as like setting up your bank account, registering your car, all the basic things that you take for granted by not being able to speak the language is just so difficult.
If you're gonna come over, I mean, just start with like basic grammar. The car is red.
Yeah.
The cat is small. You know, like adjectives are really good.
Yep. I guess the biggest thing is a lot of car-related things are spoken in katakana, which, for people that don't know, is the
car
English
parts,
translated
you can get away with
Japanese.
Just doing katakana English.
Yeah, so if you can sound like a Japanese
part.
person when you're talking about cars, you're most likely saying all of the words correctly. But
yeah, that's another thing though. A lot of car guys don't speak English over here.
Yeah. Well, what's your personal thoughts on like that? Do many Japanese people that you've met, like in general, speak English? Like, what's their level?
And everyone in like my car circle of friends, only one guy speaks English.
Wow. So what's that in like 1 in 20?
I'm sorry?
1 in 20 kind of average?
Maybe less than that if it's car guys.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Right.
There's him in my close circle, and then there's the one lady that comes over from Matsuri in Australia, Sheena. She speaks really good English.
Okay.
But a lot of guys, they don't speak English, so study some Japanese.
So definitely, it's going to be way easier to make good car friends and stuff like that to help you out at these places.
Anything.
Yeah.
Like, buses really stress me out, so I always ask the bus driver before I get on, I was like, hey, this bus go to this place?
Yeah.
Even though I'm like 99.9% sure. And he's like, no, that's the one over there with the -3 behind it. I was like, oh, thank God.
Well, I used to get caught hopping on the trains, and I'd hop on the train going in the wrong direction because they don't label which direction they're going very well, especially in the countryside.
I got lost going down to Chiba one time. I was so mad because I rode the wrong train. I was like, I just rode the wrong train for like 10 minutes. I had to go back.
Because you look at your GPS and it's going the wrong direction. You're like, God damn it.
I had to go back, and then I get to the station. I was like, I don't understand. Where is platform number 4? 1, 3, 7, 8. What? And also you can't get mad about stuff easily.
Yeah. You got to have a lot of patience.
Yeah, you're like, oh, why did you? This is so stupid. This doesn't make sense.
And everything is like that in Japan. Like, everything is just like, why? I really struggled with that on my last trip and really noticed it on my last trip. I wasn't as patient as I was on previous trips, and I was just like, why is everything so difficult? Like, it can get overwhelming. And I think it was a lot more overwhelming because I was by myself that trip. And yeah, it really can get overwhelming with how difficult everything is compared to in other countries. Like, yeah, it certainly made my mind up on not wanting to live there without being able to properly speak Japanese. Like, that was a really big turning point for me.
It changes a lot. I mean, at least like my life changed a lot from when you first met me, where I could like barely speak Japanese, to where like now.
Yeah, totally. But that's only like what, 2 years, 2.5 years, you know, and
2.5 years or so. Yeah. If I would have studied, that would be way better. But I just got drunk in the countryside and spoke to old people.
Good way to learn. Well, that really leads into like my last question that I have for you, and that is, knowing what you know now, would you have moved from the USA to Japan? You know, knowing how difficult it all is and knowing how expensive it would be, do you think that if you totally knew everything that you did now, would you honestly still move? Or would you just stay in the USA and you would probably have a lot more drifting under your belt and probably a lot more money?
Nah, I would have still came over here. It's fun, dude.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear, though, you know, but that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, we can do another podcast later if you want to about
definitely.
My new job when I start, because that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah, which will be, what's your new job?
I'll be a maintenance technician, translator, and D1 pit crew.
And that'll be your actual job. So, at a tire shop, is it? Yeah. Or is it a maintenance shop?
Yeah. Maintenance, oil, brakes, mufflers,
right,
etc.
So I can get you to order me parts.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, no, not a maybe. You're going to be ordering me parts. Thanks, Jay. You're my go-to guy. No, but yeah, totally. No, that's good to hear that you actually would still decide to go.
But that being said, I worked as what do you call it in English? Not dispatch. What is that? I was subcontracting.
Subcontracting as a teacher's aide, weren't you? Or were you a full teacher or a teacher's aide?
I was a teacher's aide, but I was at school every day. 8 to 4:30.
Yeah.
Subcontracted, so the pay was low.
Yeah.
And now I'm going from that to a full-time employee, so that's going to be a lot of work.
Out of curiosity, what will your average wage be now that you'll be working the job that a normal Japanese person will be working?
So since I'm starting out, just joined the company, it's kind of low, but there's, chance for raises and bonuses and...
Did they give you a time frame?
I'm sorry?
Did they give you a time frame at all? Like, is it a year or 6 months before they look at your wage?
After you work a year, you get 2 yearly bonuses.
Okay.
Which is normally about 1 month's wage.
Wow, okay. So, like, that could be, like, what, like $3,000 or something like that?
Yeah. So that's going to be, first is probably Moto Compo. First bonus.
Oh, you got to buy a Moto Compo?
Yeah.
You're so Mighty Car Mods, man.
Dude, I just want to ride a Moto Compo through Ginza with the Yankee helmet, like a Mozozoka helmet, just so everyone's like, what is wrong with this white guy?
Can you get one of those big, like, they're kind of like, I don't know what they're called, but like that ducktail seat that really sticks up high and just bolt that to the back of it. You can do it like Naoki style with a couple of tech screws and get like the horns and just going rada 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 rada. Yeah, dude, that sounds amazing. I would pay to see it.
How much?
We'll
$50.
pay your bail.
Yeah. As long as your bail is quite cheap. Make sure your bail's cheap. No, that's cool. So, well, what will your average wage, monthly wage be moving forward? Like, average, you know, like you don't have to disclose your exact wage.
Average normal Japanese starting Japanese companies is normally around, what is it, 250,000 a month.
Well, that's not that much more than what you were earning though. Before
Yearly
at the
will
school.
go up.
Okay. Oh, after
Because
a year it will go up. You mean?
No. My yearly income will go up because most
You don't
teaching
get paid in the
jobs, if you work as
holidays
assistant aide,
as the
Yeah.
teacher's aide.
So
Right.
summer break was a month, so I lost 50% of a paycheck there.
Yep.
And then, spring break was 2 weeks, so that was a good $800, $900.
Yep.
And then, because I was subcontracted, I had to pay all my insurance out of pocket.
Right, and your taxes and stuff like that, whereas you're actually not going to pay as much
taxes will
tax.
stay the same.
Okay.
The taxes will stay the same. The company pays half the insurance,
Okay.
but then I have to be enrolled in the pension, so the health insurance will cost the same. But
you'll get
It's
that
also
pension
the-
back if you leave the country, though?
no,
Really?
no.
Really?
So
Interesting.
for Americans, it counts towards years paid in. It's like when you you turn 60 years old, you're like, oh, you lived in Japan for 5 years. Okay, that counts as 5 years paid in.
So you'll get it when you go to America when you turn 60, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like your Social Security, that'll count towards that.
Okay,
But I
and
don't-
if you
I don't
stayed in
think the
Japan and
amount-
say you're in Japan for the rest of your life, it would count
Then I'll
towards
draw
your
a
actual pension in Japan then,
Yeah.
like...
I
Okay.
think if you get up to 3 years back, I think 2 years or 3 years back when you leave, but you don't say I live here 10 years. I'm like, I have to go back to the States. I'd
Yeah.
only get 2 or 3 years back.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Did that answer my question? I think it pretty much answered the question.
Yeah, Japan is tough to make money, but
Yeah.
That's
Well,
one-
your
the
wage
one nice thing
isn't
about
gonna
Japan-
go up. So yearly, it will go up.
Yeah,
Like your
and then
total
bonuses.
wage plus you'll get the bonus after 1 year. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. It will go up a bit then. It's not a
yeah.
drastic amount, but maybe if you stay at the company for a couple of years or
yeah.
more, it'll go up even more too.
yeah, for sure. And the big thing is, the one nice thing about Japan is if you can speak Japanese, you can get out of teaching.
Yes. Yeah. Which is what your aim was, why you learnt to speak Japanese was so that you didn't have to teach English anymore.
So if you get good at Japanese, you could go work for a regular Japanese company as a regular Japanese employee. You can get a visa for that.
Yeah.
I know one girl that she was already a web designer. She came over teaching, studied, got her Japanese up on par, and now she's a web designer in Tokyo.
Okay.
Then, some countries are like, no, you're an English speaker. You only teach English, and that's the only visa we'll give you, unless you're some amazing engineer, an aeronautical engineer. Then you're okay. You can come in.
And you just have to, if you're American, you just have to have a college degree, and then you can come to Japan.
For Japan, you have to have a university degree or 10 years experience to get a visa.
10 years experience, what does that mean?
Say you were... that one's really hard. Say you were some kind of engineer for 10 years, but you never graduated with the diploma. But you're like, hey, I did this job for 10 years, here's proof.
You could go over and only do that job, or...
Once you got the visa, you can change if you can get a contract from another company.
That's pretty cool. For Americans, I know Australians they either get that 1 year only, or we can get our university degree and then we can come over. But I don't think there's any kind of 10-year thing. That'd be really good if there was.
It's a 10 years or a diploma is the bare minimum requirements for any country, I think, in Japan.
I might have to look into that. Yeah, I always thought never heard about.
I know
that.
Australians, you can do the work holiday.
Yeah, which is really cool. And Americans can't do that.
Yeah, but like when I'm changing my visa right now to get a different visa, I had to send my diploma to the like lawyer or legal scribe to make all my new paperwork for my new visa. Just to be a translator. I have to have a bachelor's degree.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to us, Jay. I think this has definitely probably been our most interesting episode yet.
Yeah, most definitely.
And thanks so much for giving us the time. And we'll definitely be speaking to you again this year for sure. And I'll be seeing you in June and November. So that'll be really good.
Yeah, I'm planning on driving Matsuri with you in the winter.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a nice ding in your passenger door or your driver's door, either one.
I am really low level. Please do not scratch my around.
We'll just drive super fast on Nishilong and try and hit those Americans with the pool noodles again.
Screw that. Dude, Laurel tail lights are expensive.
Man, we'll just copy what Daigo and that were doing on Nishilong. It'll be fine.
And what, they're 800 power missiles?
Yeah, we'll just wind the tire pressure up to 800 and that totally makes it the same, hey. Alright, dude, well thanks heaps and we'll definitely be chatting to you again.
Yeah, no worries, later.
Alright, dude.
Thanks, man. Take it easy.
Later.
Cool. Well, that was our first guest and I think that went pretty well. Do you have any drift news to add to the end of the episode before we sign off?
I took the Ep4 drifting at Archfield.
Did you? How'd that go?
That went really good. Track's actually not as bad as I thought now that they've moved the walls back. Nico circuit drop off they have on the middle section of the track's actually heaps of fun.
Yeah, right.
Not as smooth as I thought. It was quite bumpy, but yeah. No, I had a good time out there. Few cool drivers went out as well. That was rad. So constant entertainment.
Awesome. Awesome. And I know that Jacob Pecky drove the Bring the Bash.
Oh yeah, Bring the Bash 3. They got to do a test run out of the
Macquarie.
Yeah, got to go test that track, man. It looks so much fun.
Yeah, that does look really fun. I think it was flat. Like it was hard to tell in the video, but I think it was mostly
flat, but it's just like nice and windy. So.
Yeah, and it's kind of picturesque in like the middle of like kind of like a rainforest setting as well.
Yeah, it's so nice out there.
Yeah, that it kind of reminded me of that track that they do. What's that? What big one in the States? Where all the really cool cars go to.
Final Bout.
Yeah, it really reminded me of that, like a flat version of that track. You know, that kind of like scenery. So. Yeah, it looked really cool.
Super keen. Definitely going to try and enter that next year. Both my cars are going.
Yeah, cool. Well, unless you can think of any other news, I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah, pretty much done.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you really enjoyed this episode. We put a lot of effort into this one, so thanks for listening, and we'll catch you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, take it easy.
See ya. If you enjoyed today's episode, you'll find more content on iTunes Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, and Podcast Addict, as well as many other podcasting apps and websites. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks. Bye!